and gentlemen, most of us, analysts, even various people across the country who are Raila Amolo Odinga supporters, believed that Raila Amolo Odinga does not want Babu Owino to become the governor of Nairobi, and that Johnson Sakaja was being favored by the ODM party. Even Babu Owino came out and said he knows that the ODM party will give the ticket to Johnson Sakaja. And actually, in most occasions, he was actually telling the ODM party that I have been very loyal to Baba. Why are you guys doing this to me? If you missed Babu Owino say that, listen to this.
I want to tell you that I know that Sakaja will be given the ticket for ODM. And I know how much I'm hated in our own house. But that will not prevent me from chasing my dreams. That will not prevent me from being a leader.
I sat down and asked myself, what could be the reasons as to why Raila Amolo Odinga does not want Babu Owino to be the governor of Nairobi? And from the contemporary understanding, it's because Raila Amolo Odinga was given some money by Johnson Sakaja. Allegedly, people were saying 200 million, others 400 million, and many other allegations. But now I've taken my time to sit down and analyze the entire situation correctly. And I've come to note one simple thing. Raila Amolo Odinga meant well for Babu Owino. Some of you might be confused right now. How can someone mean well to you, yet on the other side is denying you an opportunity that you need to benefit from? Why do I say that Raila Amolo Odinga meant well for Babu Owino? That's what I want to take you through here on this particular channel. But before I do so, if this is the first time you're watching my videos, take a second or two to subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. Without much wasting of time, allow me to dive into this topic here today. Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak today, Evans Kidero is nowhere to be seen politically. Kidero was a very powerful politician, and actually many people saw him that after being the governor of Nairobi, is the second after Baba. And after Raila Amolo Odinga exists, probably Evans Kidero was to take over the Luo Nyanza region. And at some point, even we saw Evans Kidero and Luo Nyanza trying to conduct Harambes without Baba's consent by then. And people really fought him. Even Baba himself now got rid of Evans Kidero. So as we speak today, Evans Kidero actually, as the time Baba was dying, I even didn't see Evans Kidero there. But if he was there, you can let me know in the comment section. But we all know that he did not have Raila Amolo Odinga's favor. Instead, Evans Kidero was much more closer to William Samoei Arap Ruto. Ladies and gentlemen, Kidero was a governor of Nairobi who actually did some proper establishments, despite there were cases of corruption there, but he tried to manage Nairobi during his time. But regardless of his good work that he made at that point, Evans Kidero, as we speak today, is nowhere to be seen politically. It came to Mike Mbuvi Sonko. Mike Mbuvi Sonko, as we speak today, politically is nowhere, unless it starts again to come back to politics. And that's the option that he has. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are talking about Johnson Sakaja. Among the most unpopular leaders right now we are having, it is Johnson Sakaja. Because Nairobi is a metropolitan, having people from all parts of the country, and everyone that comes out of Nairobi says Nairobi is not working. So a clear indication that things are not good for Johnson Sakaja. Already while on the seat, he has been considered to be poorly performing and actually dead politically. That is what actually gives Babu Owino the motivation that he can be able to challenge Johnson Sakaja in Nairobi. Now, assuming Babu Owino becomes the governor, history will always keep repeating itself. Babu Owino, trust you me, after 5 years, will be dumped again and will be dead politically. So when Raila Amolo Odinga was making efforts to prevent Babu Owino from ascending to the gubernatorial seat, he knew Babu Owino that would be the end of him. And from where I sit, I can tell that Raila Amolo Odinga as well was aware that Babu Owino was much more close to the youth who were supporting Raila Amolo Odinga by then. And that Babu Owino, if he goes to the gubernatorial seat, he will lose even the same youths. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, Raila Amolo Odinga was right. But however, what could be the problem if Babu Owino sits on the seat again? Let me take you through that step by step. First of all, remember this. Nairobi, it's a destroyer of politicians. It destroys the careers of most of the politicians. If you've tried Nairobi and failed as a governor, rarely can you manage to come out of Nairobi politically. Because you can see Peter Kenneth. He failed, and now you can see where Peter Kenneth nowhere knows where he is. Evans Kidero as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we had even people like Stanley Livondo, Jimmy Nambaru, people who are very strong politically, but right now they are nowhere to be seen. As if that's not enough, let me also take you through some things here. Nairobi has very big challenges that needs to be sorted. And One of these challenges is water. Water is a big issue in Nairobi. People keep complaining, especially those in the slum areas. There are no proper establishments for those slum areas to get proper water connections. Another thing, it is garbage collection. Garbage collection in Nairobi is a big problem. Even if you start today and you're given the term Senate, it's not possible for you to have the garbage collection done in 5 years completely and every system laid. It's possible, but it will take a lot of support, including that one of the central government. Ladies and gentlemen, another thing is drainage. Every time it rains, you realize that there's some blockage somewhere. Water is flooding into other people's homes, which is a big problem as well. So when you bring all these three big problems, plus many others that the people of Nairobi may experience, ladies and gentlemen, by the time you finish your fifth year as a governor of Nairobi, you don't be the same again. You'll be completely destroyed. So to finish these problems, it's a challenge. So Babu Owino, when he gets there, he will be seen to be very incompetent. That's number one. Ladies and gentlemen, if Babu fails to become the governor of Nairobi, then he's done. He's done. Assuming today he goes to compete for the seat. Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka combine. And then they bring us probably a Mount Kenya governor. And then a deputy from Kamba region. Those people have big numbers. If Sakaja also goes for the same seat, Babu Owino as well goes for the same seat. Eventually you realize that Babu Owino will not have a chance to become a governor of Nairobi. What if he fails? He's done politically. Being outside for 5 years and you don't have huge amounts of money to do protests, even to be politically active, ladies and gentlemen, I can comfortably tell you here that Babu Owino will not be the same again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, governor seats need some bit of calmness, where you behave now as a leader, not as just a politician as well, as a leader as well. And there's no time in the gubernatorial seat you can tell me that Babu Owino has time to move around, do things here and there, talk to people, because problems need to be sorted and you must be at the office. When he talks, you can always feel that everything is going to be easier, but we know it's not the same again. If there's somebody who seems to have a plan and fix Nairobi problems, it is Johnson Sakaja. You all heard him during the debate when they had with Polycarp Igathe. He beat Polycarp Igathe kama Mbrokenge. So in a nutshell, if Sakaja failed, Babu Owino can also fail. Not because he's not a smart leader, because these challenges are big. They are big. They need the intervention of the central government for someone to stand properly and govern Nairobi. So ladies and gentlemen, Babu will not have time to move around and start doing politics which can keep him alive. While you are a governor, you have to keep low. And that is what happens with most of the governors. And what also happens is this. For him to be able to manage the low politics, he needs to be very active. And because he has no time as a governor, then it will be very impossible for him to inherit the Luo kingpinship. And that is the major target for Babu Owino, at least for him to become a principal. So if Babu Owino becomes the governor, then you have to forget some things like becoming a Luo kingpin. Two, he also has to forget things to do with the presidency, if he has the ambitions at some point to go for the presidency in this country. Lastly, also, Luo politics generally will be finished because ataonekana kuwa mtu wa Nairobi peke yake. What option that is remaining for Babu Owino? And I think this is where the mind of Raila Amolo Odinga was. Babu Owino to either remain the member of parliament of Embakasi East, be able to have the national outlook, be able to do his politics the way he has been doing it all along, to establish himself and grow at least to some level. Or he can decide to even shoot directly to become the president of this country. If he does that today, if Babu Owino puts aside the ambitions of becoming the governor of Nairobi, and then he says in 2027 atakuwa kwa ballot, I'm telling you, believe you me, he will be automatically becoming the Luo kingpin. And whether you like it or not, he becomes a principal whom you cannot underrate. So that is a golden chance that he has in 2027. If Babu Owino is smart enough right now, let him keep off or keep away everything to do with Nairobi gubernatorial seat, because that it's a destroyer seat. It destroys politicians. I don't know what is your take, but I feel if Babu Owino avoids the seat, he can comfortably build himself in 2027, even go and establish his own party, because you cannot just emerge without going to the grassroots. After developing his own party to clean some of these seats, even as we speak today in the by-elections that we're having in Luo Nyanza, he can go and support Otete for Kasipul and try himself with ODM party. And eventually, Babu Owino will be much victorious if Otete wins. So that's the best way he can try himself at the grassroots. But the fact remains, Babu Owino is the person who has a choice to make. All is up to him. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Abdul Mukwa. I don't know what you think, but in the comment section you can share with me on what you have in mind.